What if one day, everything changed for Jamaica, not because of tourism, not because of music, but because of something buried deep beneath its land and seas? Oil. Imagine the announcement breaking across the island. News spreads from Kingston to Montego Bay, from Spanish Town to the most rural districts. Massive oil reserves have been discovered. Overnight, Jamaica is no longer just a small Caribbean nation, it becomes a country sitting on black gold. At first, the reaction would be pure excitement. For decades, Jamaica has depended heavily on imported fuel, draining billions from the economy. But now, that changes. Gas prices could drop. Electricity could become cheaper. The Jamaican dollar might strengthen. Jobs would begin to appear almost immediately: engineers, construction workers, offshore technicians. International oil companies would rush in, bringing billions in investment. It would feel like Jamaica had finally hit the jackpot. And honestly, in many ways, it would have. We've already seen what this kind of discovery can do. Just look at Guyana. A country that, not long ago, had a relatively small economy suddenly became one of the fastest growing economies in the entire world after oil was discovered offshore. Roads improved. Infrastructure expanded. Government revenues skyrocketed. Jamaica could follow that same path, but here's where the story takes a turn. Because oil doesn't just bring wealth. It brings pressure. It brings power. And sometimes, it brings problems. There's something economists call the resource curse. It sounds strange. How can having valuable natural resources be a curse? But history has shown it happens more often than you'd think. Take Nigeria for example. One of the largest oil producers in the world, generating billions of dollars. Yet many of its citizens still face poverty, infrastructure challenges, and corruption scandals tied directly to oil money. Instead of lifting everyone up, the wealth became concentrated, mismanaged, and in some cases, lost. If Jamaica discovered oil, the same risks would exist. Suddenly, the economy could become overly dependent on one thing. Tourism, one of Jamaica's strongest industries, might take a back seat. Agriculture could decline. When oil prices are high, everything feels great. But when global prices drop, the entire economy could feel the shock. And then there's the human factor. With billions of dollars flowing into a small country, the temptation for corruption grows. Contracts, deals, foreign partnerships, if not managed properly, the wealth that was supposed to transform the nation could end up benefiting only a few. Inequality could widen. The gap between rich and poor could become even more visible. But maybe the biggest risk isn't economic. It's environmental. Jamaica is known worldwide for its beauty, its beaches, its coral reefs, its clear blue waters. Now imagine an oil spill just off the coast. One accident could damage ecosystems that took centuries to form. Tourism could take a massive hit overnight. Fishermen could lose their livelihoods. Entire communities could be affected. That's the hidden cost people don't always think about. And there's another twist to this story: timing. The world is changing. Countries everywhere are slowly shifting toward renewable energy, solar, wind, and cleaner alternatives. Oil, while still powerful, may not dominate forever. So if Jamaica discovers oil at a time when the world is moving away from it, the long-term benefits might not be as strong as expected. It could be a race against time. But here's the part that makes this story truly interesting, because it doesn't have to end badly. There's a model for doing it right. Look at Norway. When they discovered oil, they didn't just spend the money freely. They planned. They saved. They invested in the future. Today, Norway has one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world, trillions of dollars set aside not just for today, but for generations to come. That's the difference between short-term wealth and long-term power. If Jamaica were to follow a similar path, careful management, transparency, investment in education, infrastructure, and renewable energy, it could transform the nation in a way that lasts for decades. Imagine better roads, stronger healthcare systems, improved schools, and more opportunities for young people. Imagine a Jamaica that isn't just surviving, but thriving on a global level. But all of that depends on decisions. Because oil itself isn't good or bad. It's what a country does with it that determines everything. So the real question isn't just, what would happen if Jamaica discovered oil? The real question is, would Jamaica be ready for it?